How's it going, guys? First of all, Happy New Year from everyone here at Naturescope. I hope the start of 2022 has been really good to you all so far. Today I've got a pretty special video. Back in October 2021 I had the opportunity to go diving in the Farne Islands in the north of England, and mainly to go diving with the seals there. The Farne Islands has a huge seal colony of a few thousand seals, and it's estimated to hold about 45% of the UK's grey seal population currently. So for the first half of the video I'm going to show you one of the dives I went on, talk about what it was like diving with the seals, and you'll get to see some of that amazing footage. In the second half of the video I'm going to talk about the Farne Islands and their seal conservation efforts, so stick around for that. My name's Adam and welcome to Naturescope. We set off on the near 5-hour drive the night before and got to Seahouses just before 11 PM. We woke up the next morning to a beautiful sunrise and what looked like calm seas and hopefully good weather. Before we set sail there was just enough time to take in some of the sights. We were diving with Serenity Farne Island boat tours, and it wasn't long before our boat, the Serenity 2, came in to pick us all up. Before long, me and my dive club were getting kitted up and getting ready to get in the water. It was a bit more choppy at sea than it was in harbour, but the weather still looked promising. After about a 20-minute boat ride we finally got to the Farne Islands, and all we could see was dozens and dozens of seals just lying down on the shore. And almost everywhere you looked in the water, seals were popping their heads out just to see what was going on. The boat got us a little bit closer to the islands, and it was finally time for me and my dive buddies to get in the water and go exploring. We decided before the dive to all meet up, sit at about 3 or 4 metres to conserve air, and let the seals come to us. There was no real need for us to go deeper. Seals stay at shallower depths, and we could just stay put and have a longer dive. Within just minutes of us being in the water, we spotted a shadow, and a single seal swam up to us to investigate us and see what we were doing. It didn't stick around for long, and before we knew it, it had quickly swam away. But it's almost like this individual seal was a catalyst, as literally seconds later we were surrounded by dozens of its friends. Most of the seals, especially the younger ones, are extremely playful. They have this kind of obsession with playing with our fins, mainly the plastic ones rather than kind of floppier ones. And it was mouthing in the same way that a dog would play with a toy. They weren't being aggressive, it was genuinely just playful. This clip is a really good example of showing you that you don't have to move when you're under the water. The seals will come to you, they will come and play with you, just let them do their thing so they're comfortable. We were all pointing at each other, telling us that our fins were being nibbled on, but by the time we turned around, the seals were long gone. Even after just one dive, you start to notice the different personality types under the water, mainly between the younger and the older seals, in a similar way to humans. The younger seals are really playful, they're often the ones that come up to you and want to nibble your fins and be around you and see what you're doing. But the older ones, when they're underwater, you notice they're just kind of chilling. Some of them are even asleep underwater. It's just really interesting to watch. This seal is a prime example of that. It stayed around us the whole dive, basically just lying on the kelp beds, almost asleep, and the only time it would move was to go up to get some air and come straight back down again. After a successful, nearly hour-long dive, it was time to send up the marker buoy and ascend to the surface. The boat came and picked us up, and then we headed straight back to the harbour, where we were greeted by literally hundreds and thousands of adoring fans. We had a few minutes to reflect on the dive as the boat sailed its way through the harbour. We unkitted, got off the boat, and went home. What an unforgettable day.
I hope you enjoyed some of that amazing footage. It was genuinely incredible to get the opportunity to dive with the seals and be so close to them. But right now I'm going to talk about the Farne Islands and their seal conservation efforts, because it's genuinely a pretty incredible story. So in the late 2000s and early 2010s, the seal population in the Farne Islands was pretty much non-existent from everything I could find. Thanks to conservation efforts by the National Trust, in 2014 the seal population grew once more to 1,750-ish individual seals. 5 years later, in 2019, this then grew again to around 2,600 individual grey seals, an increase of about 60%. Now, in 2021, the grey seal population in the Farne Islands is predicted to reach record highs. This is pretty incredible when you consider that the seal population in the Farne Islands in the late 2000s and early 2010s was classed as pretty much non-existent, and to rise from nearly nothing to 2,600 individual seals is just mind-boggling. To add on to this a bit more, 30% of grey seal pups die within the first month of being born, and 50% don't make it past the first year. So when you take into account the fact that 50%-ish of newborn seals die, this rise is genuinely incredible. What caused this rise in population? Well, there's a few things. First of all, the work the National Trust did in protecting the seals' habitat. The Farne Islands and the seals themselves can't go unnoticed. This will be a big reason as to why the population's boomed. Secondly, there's thought to have been an increase in sand eels, which make up around 70% of the grey seal's diet. Finally, and kind of sadly, is a decrease in predators. Things like sharks, killer whales, natural predators to the seal, haven't been near the Farne Islands as much, which means more seals have survived to adulthood. Whether you see the increase in sand eels and the decrease in natural predators as a negative or a positive, it is one of the reasons why the grey seals population has managed to boom and increase over time. It's vitally important that we have seals in our ecosystem, as they help maintain a balance in the food chain. On one end of it, they're controlling the populations of fish, crabs and squid by eating those so they don't boom, and on the other end of it, things like orcas and sharks are eating the seals, which hopefully keeps their populations at a good level. One of the reasons I mentioned earlier for the seals' increase was there being no natural predators around, no sharks, no orcas, nothing like that. So hopefully this increase in seal numbers will then bring in these predators back to the Farne Islands, and it will hopefully create a balanced ecosystem where everything can benefit. We also have to look at it from a human perspective. As long as there's seals in the Farne Islands, it means businesses that do dive and sightseeing tours, like the ones I went with, are benefiting, and the whole town of Seahouses and the Farne Islands are all getting that financial gain from people like me, tourists coming into the area wanting to see the seals. So let's hope over the next year the grey seal population in the Farne Islands continues to grow at a healthy rate that benefits everyone. If you wish to learn more about the Farne Islands and their seal conservation efforts, I've left a few links in the description, as well as to the articles that you've seen pop up on screen whilst I've been talking. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a like. If you have any questions about diving with seals in the Farne Islands, please drop them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Subscribe to Naturescope to not miss any more nature, diving related content. We got loads planned this year. So thanks again for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys later.